So hey everyone, this is Siddharth and today we will be solving another question on Geek for Geeks, which is array subset of another array. So what exactly we have to do in this question is that we have to check if this second array is the subset of the first array or not. So let's first discuss the brute force method to solve this question. So in the brute force method, what we will be doing, uh, we will be traversing into an array. We will be traversing into a shorter array, and for each element we will be checking if this element is present in a first array or not. If that's the case, if the element that we are currently on, we found it in our second array, we will we will update this element into original array to some value, suppose long minimum value, long dot minimum value, and we will move on to the next element. So in this manner we will able to find out if this array is the subset of the first array or not. So but this approach is time consuming, because for each element in the smaller array we have to traverse uh, into the bigger array up to the last, if the worst case occur. Like if this element is in the last, then we have to traverse to the end of the greater array, which we don't want. So now what we will do, for optimization, the first thought that must came into our mind is that we can use hash map. We will put each element with their frequency into their hash map, and we will traverse into a smaller array, and for each element we will check if this element is uh, present into our hash map, and we will decrement the frequency counter, and we will move on to the next element. So this is the approach we will be using. So let's move on to the coding part. So first we will be making a hash map of long gem is equals to new hash map. Now what we will be doing, we will be traversing into a second array, first array, and we will put each element of first array into our hash map. So putting each element into the hash map. So let's initialize in for each loop for long, as the data type of first array is long. So long num in our first array, which is a1. What we will do, we will put hm dot put num and hm. Why we are doing get or default? Because what if we encounter a similar element in this array, like 3? First we put 3, then we have to update a frequency counter. That's why we are using get or default. So what this will be doing, it will be returning the value of the key, which is num. Otherwise it will return 0 if we encounter the element for the first time. Now we have to add 1 if we encounter the element for the first time, then we have to update the frequency to 1. Now what we have to do, now we have put each element of our second array into a hash map. Now we will start traversing into our second array, so that we can check the element into a hash map. So for that, let's initialize again for each loop. Now a2 in this case, and first we will check if our hash map contain the element or not. A2, if that's the case, Now we will have to check if the frequency of or the value is greater than 0 or not. If it's not 0, then we haven't encountered the element. Sorry, the element is not present in our hash map, then we will return false. So hm dot get num is greater than 0. If that's the case, what we will going to do, we have we have checked if the element is on a hash map or not, and if its frequency is greater than 0 or not. Now what we will do, we will update the frequency by putting the sorry, okay, it will be num, and we will be putting our element into our hash map with its by decreasing its frequency by 1, because we have encountered the element for the first time. Now we have to decrement its value so that we can check it in the next traversal if we encounter the same element again. So hm dot get, which will going to be num and -1. Okay, now what we have to do, after traversing into the array and checking each element into our hash map, now if now we will return, else we will return, as the return type is string, so we have to return yes or no. So we will return no if we will not find the element into our hash map, otherwise we will return yes. So return yes. Now let's try to run this code. Okay, we have to convert this to long because 0 is int. So let's try to run this. Okay, now let's try to submit the problem. Okay, all the test case have been processed. So thank you, see you in the next video, bye.